So I'm going to try to make this review sheet for the walk around review on different software. I don't have my dock cam at home, so hopefully this turns out. You may hear people in the background and the laundry is going right now. First one is a distance formula review, just good review, all that. You can use the formula, or you can just say how far is it between 2 and -3, because that's what we're doing by subtracting it. The net distance from 2 to -3 on a number line is 5. No matter what, you should get 5 or -5 there. And how far is it from -5 to 8? That is 13, because it's from -5 to 0 is 5. So on your calculator, 25 plus 169 square root of 194. And I'm not going to do that calculation right now. I'll let you do that. You can push the buttons. Okay, given the conditional, today's my birthday, then I will eat cake. So we're looking at this conditional statement. There's my P. I will eat cake is the Q. So it says write the converse. That's if Q, then P. So I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to write it. If I eat cake, then today is my birthday. The inverse, if you remember, the inverse is negation. Sometimes that's a symbol like that. So not P implies not Q. You can also do the little squiggle. So if today is not my birthday, then I won't eat cake. So I negated the P and negated the Q. Next one, find the distance between the 2 points. That's the same problem. Just a minute. Alright, I think I got it figured out. Okay. Write the hypothesis of the following statement. If you had two positive integers, then your answer will be a positive integer. The hypothesis is the if part minus the if. Okay, so you add two positive integers. That's your hypothesis. The conclusion would be your answer will be a positive integers. Write a conjecture predicting the next two numbers. So if you notice, there's a difference of 5 here. We talk about absolute value difference. It's going between positive and negative. And so if you notice, they're adding by 5 each time. And then the signs are switching between positive and negative the other way. So they're actually going down 10 in the other direction because of the adding 5. Is this an example of inductive or deductive reasoning? Inductive reasoning is when we make conjectures. Deductive reasoning is the if P then Q stuff. Find the midpoint to the nearest tenth between the points below. So this time, instead of subtracting to find how far apart they are, I'm adding and taking the average. So -3 plus 2 over 2 and -5 plus 8 over 2. So -1/2, 3/2. So -0.5 if you're doing decimal, and 1.5 is the midpoint. You can plot it and see if it's in the middle. Okay, given that I go to bed early, I will be alert in class. This is my P, this is my Q. Write in words. So I'm just going to say it because I don't have room to write on here. So this is the conditional. If I go to bed early, then I will be alert in class tomorrow. And this is the inverse. You don't have to know that name here, you just know you're negating it. So if I don't go to bed early, then I won't be alert in class. So it just negates both things together. It doesn't ask you to find truth statements at all. So write a 2-column proof. Given angle 6 is congruent to angle 7, prove angle 5 is congruent to angle 8. So it says copy the picture / given and then do a 2-column proof. So you always know with the proof that your first statement is going to be your given. So you make sure you take care of that. And then before I go and try to start writing my proof, I need to look at my picture, pretend I don't know anything. I don't know this. Angle 6 is congruent to angle 7. Well, I know I have vertical angles. So I know angle 5 is congruent to angle 6. And I know that angle 7 is congruent to angle 8. And I can say that because the vertical angles theorem. I'm abbreviating here. I'd like you to write it out when you have their notes page with you. So from that we can have a chain. Is there a chain of things that are congruent? I know angle 5 is congruent to angle 7. So I'm going to go back up now and look. What was I actually trying to show? I was trying to prove that 5 is congruent to 8. But by this chain here, I know 5 is congruent to 6. I know 7 is congruent to 8. You can start with any statement that has 5 in it and see if we can take out something that's equal to. So I know that angle 5 is congruent to angle 7 because angle 5 is congruent to angle 6. Angle 6 is congruent to angle 7. So that is substitution. I took one out and put another one in. You could also write that as transitive property of congruence. Really, transitive is just substituting twice. So I put 6 and took it out and put in 7. So I know angle 7 is congruent to angle 8. So now I can take out angle 7. Angle 7 is congruent to angle 8. That is also substitution in this order that I did it. So, not part of my proof of what I need, since angle 7 is congruent to angle 8, I just wrote that twice. I can take out 7 and put in 8. So angle 5 is congruent to angle 8. And that was substitution as well. So anytime you see this chain of events, vertical angle is going to get your first set of angles. So then I have my chain. I have 5 is congruent to 6, 6 is congruent to 7, 7 is congruent to 8. So where transitive is a little bit better if you want to do it all in one step. I kind of like to list them in order. This next one says, write the biconditional. Is it true? If not, explain. The biconditional essentially gets rid of the if and the then and replaces it with an if and only if. So an angle measures 30 degrees if and only if it's an acute angle. So you want to see, does this statement work forward and backwards? So an angle measures 30 if and only if it's acute. That makes sense. If you switch it around, acute if and only if 30, that's not really true because there are lots of angles that are acute that are not 30, so I'd say it's false. Number 9 and 10, it says find x and w and justify. So whenever we have this linear relationship here, there are things that are equal and then there are things that are supplementary. And so the things that are supplementary, 4w plus 10 plus 13w equals 180. 4w plus 10 plus 2 times x plus 25 equals 180. You can just keep working my way around there. 2 times x plus 25 plus 2x minus 30 equals 180. And you could do all of them if you want. 13w plus 2x minus 30 equals 180. Those are all true because of the linear pair postulate. And we did a bunch of those practice ones. So what you want to look for is the one that has all of the same letter. So these have all w's and this has all x's. And whichever of those is easier to solve, I would solve that right away. So this is 17w plus 10 equals 180. 17w equals 170. W equals 10. So I go back up here and put w equals 10. I don't even have to solve the other one or do it as complicated because I know this is 50. So now I can solve this equation. 2x minus 30 equals 50. Or you can come back and solve this, but there's a lot more error room in here. So 2x minus 30 equals 50. That means 2x equals 80, x equals 40. Okay, we didn't use vertical angle theorem here to find x and w, but we could have. So the other way that you can do this is to set these two equals. So 13w equals 2 times x plus 25, and 4w plus 10 equals 2x minus 30. So you always want to ask yourself which one helps you. This one doesn't help because it's all, unless you're going to do a system. Okay? Alright. Right away, before I even look at this picture, covering it up, what can you conclude and why? Justify it. Anytime that there is a segment there broken into pieces, you're going to probably use the segment addition postulate. So right now I can tell you this: AB plus BC equals AC. I can say that. That's segment addition.